YouTube, and this is Cover 2 Credits, and we are back with yet another update.
So we have a conversation and an idea for a little thing that we might do on our Facebook page. We'll talk about in this. The conversation is how much of a cluster.
Did we already do this video?
We did not. We had this conversation. We did not do this video.
Weird.
Of the Olympics are going to be in Rio, starting a week or next week on Friday. Now, there are a couple stories you haven't heard. One, as of middle of last week or beginning of this week, 19 of 30 buildings that were holding athletes not finished. First athlete kidnapped already by men in police uniform, forced to withdraw money from an ATM, then returned to the hotel. Already has happened. Most people aren't even there yet, and it's already happened. Second thing I see, there's a picture on Reddit of two security guards. One holding an assault rifle, the other holding a 6-foot-tall rocket launcher.
But because you never know when someone in a tank is going to show up to the Olympics, and you're going to need an RPG to try and take them out.
Oh.
If you are providing security to an event, and you feel that a rocket launcher could be necessary ordnance,
then you should be hosting the event.
You should not be hosting the event.
Okay, now you and I will be on the same page. We both agree that this should not be going on in Rio.
Rio is a friggin' mess right now.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
You said now, did I see something? Go continue.
I forget what I told you.
Did you see the pictures that people put up of when they landed at the airport? And there were firemen and police holding signs that said, "Welcome to hell, we're underpaid and no one's protecting you."
No, we're not being paid enough.
That's what it is. That's what it was. And it's just like,
it's a disaster.
I don't understand. I get it. I get the fact that they won the bid and they wanted it, and obviously, yeah. But Kevin and I have had this conversation before. Other than national pride, usually there's nothing good that comes from hosting the Olympics.
No.
Unless you already have the infrastructure in place to do it. That is why I had said, if we did a thing where instead of hosting it in a single city, the U.S. would be perfect, because we have indoor facilities that can host many, many people. We have outdoor, name the sport, facilities that can host many, many people. Some within driving distance of others, to where we can have multiple facilities. But they don't want to do that, and they put it in Rio. And we also look back at the last two Summer Olympics. Was it Russia, the last one?
They lost buckets and buckets of money.
And China before that.
Buckets and buckets of money.
And now you can go online and find pictures of these multi-million-dollar stadiums.
Where there's nothing.
They are empty and no one uses them. And Rio, sure, somebody will use them. A cartel will just take over a stadium and have a bigger base of operations. Speaking of which, there was already a drug bust. Every bag of cocaine had the rings of the Olympics on it. Already.
That's pretty excellent.
They're like, marketing is marketing in Rio. But there's no way there's not an incident where somebody gets kidnapped or killed. And Russia, most of Russia is not even going to be there. So like, killed, that just means it's not a Russian athlete killing someone else. It's people that are in, never mind, the joke went out the window. Russia got banned for substance, well, they didn't all get banned, but a good chunk of them got banned because they found out it was team-wide drug abuse. And so they were talking about...
They were like doping, right?
Yeah, not drug abuse, doping. Well, in competition, that is drug abuse. However, to where like some of them I think are still being able to compete, but I'm not sure. The joke was supposed to be that the Russians would just be killing other athletes not what didn't come across. There's no way though. There's no way that there's not an incident. It's impossible.
Oh no, the number of people who are going to the Olympics that will be kidnapped.
Let's not talk fans. I'm talking
athletes.
Just athletes.
Oh yeah, I would say it will be more than 5, less than 10.
How many does it take before you see delegations of an entire country leave for their safety? Do you think that'll happen in this Olympics? I'm being very serious. I could see a country pack up everyone and leave if someone is killed, or if more than one person, more than a couple people are taken.
Yeah,
I could see them pack up and go.
Yep.
Because it's like sooner or later. Well, and it's like the delegation somewhat is kind of responsible for their athletes. That's not even talking about Zika. The Zika virus? That's not even talking about that. That by itself is a reason not to have this in Rio. But instead, they're going to have it. And if that gets widespread, then it is going to be a global outbreak of Zika.
I believe the word you're looking for is pandemic.
I didn't want to go that far, but I think you're right.
But yes, it is not a good time to be in Rio.
Which is weird.
It is a really terrible time.
And I told Kevin, I'm going to be tired of seeing the Cristo statue. Because you know that the only B-roll they're going to have in Rio is of maybe one of the marinas and the Cristo statue. That's it. Because they can't like go through the slums with their camera. You're gonna go through and see like homeless people and homeless kids. They said they were going through and rounding up homeless people at gunpoint to take them somewhere else so they weren't near the Olympic Village. It's just so insane.
Yes. But like I said, when everyone starts showing up to spectate,
yeah, now let's talk about that.
The number of people who are going to get robbed or murdered or raped or kidnapped is going to be in the triple digits at least. There are going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that just vanish, are just gone.
Yep.
It is a frigging nightmare.
And it's crazy to think about because there are always other options, and when enough things are going up against you, when is enough enough? Like, they're already talking about the financial problems they were having before all of this.
Well, that's my thing is, as the Olympic Committee, as this is coming up, and do they not oversee it as it's being built and happening? Because
they have to some extent.
To me, at some point, you need to go, you know what, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So let's just call it and try something.
Or maybe the issue is they don't do that, but they need to. After Sochi, where, I think it was Sochi wasn't, Sochi, Russia. So after that, where people were getting stuck in their rooms, or the plumbing was not working at all, or there was no water in like the rooms they were staying in, like, those are big issues. Like, somebody had to come and take an axe to a door to get people out of a doorway, out of a room. They said that, I remember there were pictures, people opened the door to go into their room, and where they would have the bathroom framed in was no drywall, just studs, and like exposed piping and all kinds of stuff, and like wiring, everything exposed. And like, you can't have people stay in that. And so maybe the idea is the IOC needs to step in and oversee this, because if they're overseeing the construction and preparation, they're doing a crap job. This is too summer and winter never seems to have this issue. Is it because it has to be cold enough that crime dwindles?
Well, also think about where they have the Winter Olympics.
Where was the last Winter Olympics? A couple years ago it was Vancouver. Where was the last one? Was it Vancouver? The last one might have been Vancouver. No, it couldn't have been, because the last Winter Olympics we had just recently 2 years ago. Was not Vancouver. The previous one from that was. So where was that?
Don't remember.
I'll put it up here because I don't remember.
But point being that they usually have them in
safer places.
Safer places. Like I said, they have them in Canada. They'll have them in, Northern Europe. They'll have them in places like that are.
Even China was, or places in the U.S. they've been safer.
Like I said, it's at some point enough is enough, and I get it, but there's a lot of places in the world right now that are just not safe to go and wander around in.
Here's a question.
And Brazil is on that list
Here's a
as of
question.
right now.
They were talking about getting a bid for Chicago a while back. With as much gun violence as we have in Chicago, is that comparable, or is Rio still head and shoulders above? To me, Rio's still head and shoulders above.
Rio is not like,
I'm just
it's not a
verbalizing
first world
it.
country, really.
No.
It is, but it isn't. Like I said, talking to a dude online the other night. He is in Turkey. He's playing Rocket League with us, and he says, "Oh, my country's sort of at war right now, so if I happen to step out, it's not my fault." That's the sort of thing you're dealing with. When people are firing tanks in the middle of the city, you want to say, probably not the greatest place to invite a bunch of people for an international sort of celebration.
Well, and you got to think how many different, and how much power do the cartels hold? How many?
Brazil's sort of pretty far south of cartels.
Just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying, like.
It's mostly about It's mostly about political corruption and a lack of money and huge slums and just a general not great place to live. It's a tourist city, sort of. And like I said, it's not...
Tourists show up and don't come out.
Well, yeah, and it's like I said, it's just not... The whole Central America, South America thing is just not a great place.
Yeah, I mean, Mexico City would have made more sense than Rio.
Sort of. That's not a great place to have.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not having a war.
Mexico City's not as bad. Like I said, there's...
You mentioned South America, that's the only reason I mentioned that.
Yeah, like I said,
I know Mexico City's not in
there's a
South
lot of
America.
places in Mexico that are just not safe to be, and there's a lot of places in Central America that are not safe
And
to
I
be.
clarify,
And Brazil is
I know
definitely
that's
not
Central
safe
America.
to be, yes.
I know that's Central, not South. I'm just
Yes.
clarifying that.
But like I said,
it's not South America.
That whole area, it'd be like having the friggin' thing in Iran. It's not that they couldn't do it, it's just that it's probably not terribly wise to have an Olympics there.
No, I'm going to watch, but I hope nothing happens.
It will.
I mean, now here's my question. The 5th is opening ceremonies, where the biggest bunch of people will be together.
Uh-huh.
Just
That's why the dude
I
needed
just-
a bazooka.
It kind of boggles the mind to think that there are people that are willing to put that many people at risk without hesitation when safety in these places has got to be talked about when the bids are given. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sorry, but the crime rate in your area is high enough, we can't come there. How many athletes have you seen that? Well, you might not have seen it. Many athletes have dropped out, whether it was from Zika mostly or from Zika threat. They don't want to end up with the Zika virus. It's insane to think about. I know there's a handful of guys off the USA basketball team. There were some golfers. I would not doubt there were other sports also that have bowed out because of fear of that or just overall not safe. And it's something that we just wanted to have the conversation about. I think if you had thought anything about it.
It'll be a freaking nightmare.
So
something is going to go very, very, very badly wrong.
We hope not, but the numbers, I mean, it doesn't look reassuring at all. So let us know what you guys think. Are you going to watch the Olympics? Are you watching it like it's NASCAR just waiting for the car crash, or what? I'm gonna watch certain sports that I always watch, and I don't know. I hope nothing happens drastically. I hope nothing happens overall, but I think that's a naivety. So the other thing we talked about earlier was we're thinking of maybe doing throughout the week, if we see a random news story we like, doing a one-shot on the phone real quick, and instead of putting them up on YouTube, just putting them up on our Facebook page. We would still be doing 1 to 2 videos a week on our channel, but thinking about doing some other things on the YouTube channel. Now, if you watch these through YouTube, do us the favor and subscribe below. That helps us know how many people are watching and gives us an idea of what kind of an audience we're talking to. Comment below, even on Facebook. If you like a video, you don't want to comment on YouTube, comment on there, do something on there. I share everything on my personal page that I also post on the Cover to Credits page, mainly just to get more people to see it and that kind of thing. So he who doesn't have any social media would, but bows against
Big
that.
Brother is watching.
Oh my God, tinfoil hat and come on when you say that shit.
The NSA is the United States Secret Police.
Oh my God. So, until he gets put on some random list in this video, because he probably thinks he already is, we're going to say, until next time.
Thanks for staying alive to the credits. And don't go to Rio for the love of God.
Bye-bye. Don't go to Rio.